As far as basketball players, I think most of us, our feet function really well until we start racking up sprained ankles. That's kind of my theory, is that it all starts with like that initial sprain, and none of us rehab it. We don't take it serious. It's like, I'm back next week as soon as it stops hurting. Do you see any like major compensations after sprained ankles, or do you see it being a problem that people really don't treat it as a serious injury and then they just bounce back as soon as it's out of pain?
Oh, yes. Chronic ankle instability. They have conferences and all they do is talk about chronic ankle instability because it is such a big issue and concern. And really what a lot of the research has shown is the best way to prevent CAI or chronic ankle instability is to prevent that first ankle sprain. So they're going after all the high school athletes and saying that's where we need to stop it, is in high school, versus collegiate and pro. They've kind of like missed that window, right? But yeah, we're actually doing a research study with Arizona State University with the Naboso insoles for chronic ankle instability to try to make up for that neurological deficit. And one of the biggest things when it comes to ankle sprains is if you partially tear a ligament or partially tear a retinaculum or totally tear a ligament or two ligaments or whatever it is, you've lost some of that mechanical stability. And your first barrier to stability is mechanical. Then you have neurological, which is the proprioceptive and the fascial, and that's the side I love. But proprioceptive or neurological can never replace mechanical. It can't.
And what do you mean by mechanical?
Mechanical would be the actual ligament integrity.
Okay, right.
So I have a partial tear in a ligament. It's like a monkey wrench. And this is with everything from a adductor strain to, a bicep tendon tear. As soon as you get a break in connective tissue integrity, you have a break in connective tissue integrity, a partial tear, a split tear, something, you will never be 100%. And the neurological training of the fascial proprioceptive system can never replace that mechanical disruption, right? Which is where surgery comes in. So a lot of these athletes will get tendons surgically repaired, reapproximated, things like that, to try to override that mechanical deficit, let's say. And it's like a monkey wrench into the timing of stabilization. So what the mechanical disruption does is it just keeps kind of unraveling how quickly you can stabilize neurologically over here. Mm-hmm. So it's a really, really important part of total body soft tissue mechanics that I love for coaches to understand.
Yeah, it's almost like, there's nothing you can really do because we're going to land on feet. You're going to jump up and not know somebody's foot is under you. You're going to roll it. It's like, no matter how much prevention stuff we do, the ankle sprain is coming. It's a matter of when. And then now we play so much basketball because of AAU. We'll play 6 games every single weekend from age 10 all the way through age 20. So it's just, and the more games you play, the more risk you're going to have for those sprains. Is there anything, so once you have that chronic instability, is there anything that we can do, right? Like if I have my left ankle that's just, it doesn't have the same stability without a doubt, but I seem to be doing pretty well because I've strengthened and, like my peroneals might work extra hard to hold it in place. And that's not the ideal situation, but I'm getting by and I'm still able to move how I want to move. Do you think it is possible to have that chronic ankle instability and then still go on to have a long, healthy career?
100%. I think that's where going back to then thinking about the foot from an integrated perspective, right? So if I could get, the foot, core, pelvic communication a little bit faster and the anticipatory effect of the feet, hip stabilizers talking, then the glutes can engage a little bit faster and then your lateral line is stabilized. And therefore we kind of have this domino effect of just a little bit faster stabilization, reaction time, anticipation, etc. For sure. And I think that may be where some of the research in proprioceptive rehab with CAI is looking at it very isolated. It's okay, I'm going to do 6 weeks of wobble board. I'm going to do I'm going to, tape. I'm going to brace. I'm just doing something really locally at the foot and the ankle versus, okay, well, what if we actually did foot, core, diaphragm, pelvic, glute coordination training to actually accelerate the timing of the way that they're stabilizing? I would think that's actually a research study I need to talk to ASU about and say, this is what it should be. It's not just the textured insole that is activating it, but what I want this to do is to trigger the cascade that I just referenced: foot, core, pelvic, glute, lateral line, boom, right? I'm trying to trigger that to occur faster. This isn't a magic insert. It's still the subsequent motor coordination that we need to train.